Alrighty, hi guys. So today I'm going to do a copy critique. I had a new copywriter reach out to me on Instagram and he has said yes, he would love me to critique this work and he's happy for me to share it online so that we can all benefit. So I just want to say thank you to him for sending it through to me. Does take a bit of guts to put your work out there on show and have someone critique it. So, yeah, I just wanted to start off with that. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. So, what he sent me is it looks like the introduction and the headline for a sleep aid product. So, a product that helps you get a better night's sleep. And right off the bat, just looking at the way the headline is formulated and the introduction here, I can see that this is a very old school way of doing copy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a proven formula. It definitely works. It is, I would describe it as like a very masculine way of writing copy, if that makes sense. It reminds me of the big famous, male copywriters from, the 70s and the 80s. They definitely wrote in this style. So yeah, that's just a little note there. I will say that depending on who your client is, they may not like this style of writing. Because it is the tone is very sort of salesy and in your face. Some clients love it. Others really don't like it. They prefer a much more subtle way of selling. So it's good to just check with your client first before you start writing. But I'm sure, if you're sending them these as your samples, they're going to know what sort of style that you do. So that's just a note. Yeah, all right, so let's take a closer look at the headline. So we've got Canadian sleep doctor reveals the simple 12-second ancient sit-on chair ritual before lying on your bed tricks your brain to shut down. Okay, so right away, this headline is way too long. It's a mouthful. Your brain has to work to decipher it. And the thing about writing copy is that you want it to be as easy and scannable and digestible to read as possible because readers, consumers, buyers, they do not have the attention span to read a difficult piece of text. That's just a fact. So there's some good words in here. There's simple, that's great. What have we got? Ancient ritual, that's good. Tricks your brain, that's a good phrase. Deep restful sleep, so we know what the big benefit of the product is. 60 seconds, that's also great. The thing is, most consumers, everyone wants something quick and easy, so if you can make it sound quick and easy, that's already a big tick. So what I would do with this headline is I would just chop it in half so that it's, easier to read. So it might be something like this simple ancient ritual tricks your brain into a deep restful sleep in just 60 seconds. And I would just leave it at that. So the rest of it it's just making the sentence more convoluted. So that's what I would say about the headline. And then we've got the sub-headline here, which is learn how this groundbreaking revive and rest formula transformed me from being a decade-long insomniac to a blissful sleeper in less than 30 days. Great. So we're introducing a story here, which is great. Stories sell. So transformed me from being a decade-long insomniac to a blissful sleeper. Okay, great. I want to know about that story. All right, so let's keep reading. Dear reader, now again, this is very old school. There's nothing wrong with putting this in if you want. Personally, it's not to my taste. I do find it just a tad cheesy, but it really depends on what your client wants. If your client likes this style, then that's fine. But I don't I just think it's a bit unnecessary. But let's move on. All right. At last, a new, although 4,000 years old, breakthrough medicine that was born 30 centuries ago in a small town in China named Chao is revealed. Okay, so this isn't a strong opening sentence. I feel like you've introduced something really interesting here. This is, I want to know this story. This is the solution. So we shouldn't be introducing this until much further down the sales page. That being said, again, this sentence isn't, it doesn't flow well. We've got 4,000 years old, 30 centuries ago. You don't need to say that twice in the same sentence. I don't know whether the name of the town is really relevant. So if it's not relevant, get rid of it. But yeah, let's move on. All right. I'll let the world-class sleep doctor, Dr. Stephen T, share his thoughts about it. History is being made. Life of people who struggles with sleep will change forever once it reaches the hands of millions of people. Okay, so it's good to have expert quotes in a sales page, especially if you're selling a health product. Now, I'm assuming that this is just the spec piece, meaning that this product doesn't actually exist. So it's fine to, put this in. But if you are writing for a real product, you want to make sure those expert quotes are legitimate. Don't make them up. Simply because, personal ethics, like health products, you don't want to mess around with people's health. That's just something I'm really against personally, but that's not what he's doing here. This is just, a quote that's sort of helping to show that this is a legit product. But again, this needs to be much further down the page. All right, but before I go into detail about the breakthrough formula, let me assure two things about you first. Number one, you've tried every possible remedy under the sun to cure your sleeplessness, and the problem still burdens your shoulders, and you find yourself whispering the words, "Nothing works for me." Second, sleep deprivation feels like a monster to you. This is good. We're introducing the problem here. So one copywriting formula that you could use in a sales page is the PAS formula, which is problem, agitate, solution. So the problem, which he's introducing here, should really be at the top of the page. So these two sections should be flipped, really. The second thing is it reads a little surface level. So you've tried every possible remedy. So what are the remedies? What would people have tried before? Problem still burdens your shoulders. So this is a little bit surface level. Let's talk about what actually happens when you don't get a good night's sleep. Like, this is a very real problem. And it's, lack of sleep has a ripple effect into every single area of your life. So you should be talking about, how it affects your relationships, how it affects your work. This is like a big problem. So we want to start with that problem, and, to make it a compelling sort of hook that people are going to want to keep reading, I would be starting with this story. Transformed me from being a decade-long insomniac. So this person should be talking about what it was like to go 10 years without sleeping properly and how it affected their life. Because if you're struggling with sleep, you're going to connect with that story, and you're going to want to know, okay, how did this person solve this problem? I need to solve this problem too. So that's what we mean by problem and agitate. So you want to identify the problem and agitate it, so that the person reading is like, oh my God, I need to solve this right now. I'm going to buy this product and give it a go. All right, so let's keep going. So, and you feel like happiness itself is slipping through your fingers. Again, we're talking about the problem, but let's go into more detail. Like, tell me the tangible details, what it's actually like to go through life with a lack of sleep. Okay, but the fact you're here shows me you don't want to give up on your current situation. That's good. Frustrated with tossing and turning. I mean, that could be further up. Longing for the sweet embrace of sleep. I mean, yes, I guess that makes sense. For me, I don't love the tone here. I guess it's not a natural way of talking. I don't know if I want to say that, but yeah, just something not quite right about it. Physical health, on your emotional well-being as well. So yeah, again, let's start with that and let's talk about the details, what it's like, tell the story, not sleeping for 10 years. But hope is just around the corner. Within the next 5 minutes, you'll discover the groundbreaking revive and rest formula that transformed me from being a decade-long insomniac to a blissful sleeper. All right, so we've already said this in the subheadline. I'm not sure why you've put the next 5 minutes. If the person's reading the page, I'm hoping it's not going to take 5 minutes to figure out what the solution is. So yeah, this whole intro just needs a bit of shuffling around and a bit more detail about how lack of sleep affects your life. Let's keep reading. Okay, I'll explain why a complex sleep formula that took me more than 8 years to figure out that others would spend millions of dollars to get their hand on can be the instant hack to drift off into restful sleep. But before I do that, you need to understand this is not some basic advice for avoiding caffeine, sugar, alcohol, or anything mind-relaxing yoga that you've tried earlier, and not sleeping pills. Okay, so here, this is good. So these are some possible objections that people might have to buying this product. So it's really good to address objections in your sales page. I would expand on these. Yeah, instead, this is something I call mind-sleep fusion. Okay. Let's keep going. This is a lifeline that not only pulled me out of the abyss of insomnia, but has already proven to help 1,000+ Americans who conquered their sleepless nights and reclaimed happiness back into their lives. 1,000 Americans. If this is a real product and a real sales page, would definitely be putting in some testimonials here to prove that. Because just saying 1,000+ Americans, I mean, we want to see proof as a customer. So yeah, testimonials, reviews are really important. So make sure you sprinkle them throughout your sales page. This unique formula reaches deep into your restless mind, soothing every ounce of tension and worry, lulling you. Okay, so we've got like a few sentences that I guess are talking the product up without telling us exactly what it is. It's okay to have a couple of these, but yeah, at this point we sort of just want to know what the product is. Again, further down the page. So let's just go back to the beginning. Transform me from being a decade-long insomniac to a blissful sleeper. So this whole hook introduction should be talking about this story, introducing the story, how this person has suffered for years and years with a lack of sleep, how it affected their life, so that the person reading it can connect to that story and be like, yes, I know exactly how he feels. I feel the same way. And then we're talking about the discovery of this product. I'm not sure exactly the point of view here because you've got Canadian sleep doctor reveals. So that tells me that this is the Canadian sleep doctor writing the page. Or you're going to introduce this Canadian sleep doctor, which is how you discovered the product. I'm not sure. So we need to make that clear. Whose point of view are we talking from? Because if there's any confusion on a sales page or lack of clarity, a potential customer is just going to say no. They're just going to click away. That's quite a common piece of marketing advice. A confused mind says no. So we want to make it crystal clear who is talking here. Is it the Canadian sleep doctor? Is it someone, just an average Joe who struggles with sleep and then discovered this product and decided to bring it to the market? Like, who are we? Who are we talking? Who's talking here? Excuse me. All right. So now I know that's a big promise, but I'll give you the damning proof of that claim right inside this video. In fact, that's really what this in-demand presentation you're now watching is all about. So this reads as though this is a video script, not a sales letter. Now, from my understanding, this is a sales letter because we've got like the headline and stuff, headline and lead for a sleep aid product. So I'm not sure why now we've suddenly switched into a video script. So again, you're giving the reader blue balls to put it bluntly. Like, I just want to know what the product is and how it works. So 5 common habits, that's for a video, that's for like a webinar that someone might sign up to, on Facebook. So I'm just not sure why this is in here. I would get rid of all this. 3 must-dos, because if that's the case, if it is actually a script for a video, it's just a bit confused at the moment. If this is the case, then this should be the focus of this whole piece of copy. And you wouldn't be introducing the sleep product until the very end of the webinar. So I'm going to assume that this is a sales page, not a video, in which case this doesn't need to be here, just delete it. Next we've got, but now you may be asking yourself, well, why would I trust you? That's good. You're addressing their objection, which is, it's a health product. So we want to know that you've got credibility, that you can, back it up with some science sort of thing. So that's good to have. Let me introduce myself with a little backstory first, and that's where we finish. So there's definitely some good elements in here. I love the use of, words like simple, deep restful sleep, 60 seconds. That's great. This is a great subheadline. And for me personally, I want to know about this story. So start off with the problem, agitate the problem, then we introduce the solution, which is the health product. As it's a health product, you want to make sure that you're backing things up, particularly, with any science, any studies that have been done on this particular product. I would be linking to those because it's health, it's a health product. You really don't want to fuck with people's health. Excuse my French. So the more that you can back up your claims, the better. Expert quotes are great to put in, just make sure they're legitimate. Testimonials, reviews, that's going to help to sell it. And addressing those objections that people will have, like, well, I've tried everything before, I've tried yoga, I've tried meditation, etc., etc. So that's my thoughts on that. I hope that's been helpful. Now we've also got a sales email for an e-commerce product and a short click driver email. All right, so let's have a quick look at these. Okay, so these are 2 different subject lines he's got here. We've got my dog earned me a fan and how pets can earn you fans. So we're going with the curiosity here to get the click, to get people to open. I'm not sure that people would understand that, like my dog earned me a fan. I think for me personally, as a reader who potentially gets this email in my inbox, I'm thinking, what? So I don't think I'm curious enough to click, is what I'm trying to say. It certainly is, aiming for that curiosity factor, but I don't think I'm interested enough to click that subject line personally. But let's keep reading. All right, so let's have a look at the email. Yesterday, I took my dog Shen to the park. He was more playful than ever despite the fact that he turned 7 a few weeks ago. Cool, so we're going straight into a story. That's great. Excuse me. While he was enjoying his evening, wagging his tail, rolling on his back and running like crazy. That's not a great sentence. That doesn't flow well. A random woman came up to me and asked, "What did you name that gorgeous animal?" I said, "Oh, thank you so much. His name is Shen." So in that case, you've got Shen there. I'll just delete Shen up here. Yesterday I took my dog to the park. Now we know his name. She went on to ask, "What's the secret spice behind my dog's wide smile?" That's an oddly phrased question, but that's fine. To answer her question, I picked up a chat with her about what I did and how my mission is to change the way our pets age. And it really was a cool moment that proves how we can all unite together trying to make our dogs' lives easier. And that's not... I'm not sold on that sentence. I'd probably delete that. So I thought I'd send you this email to remind you that you can get the same results for your pet too. Okay, so we've got a story, an everyday story that anyone could relate to. A pet owner could probably relate to, having a chat with someone in the park about their pets. And then we segue into the sell. And that's a great formula for an email. It's nice to start with a story, draw people in, and then, segue to the selling rather than just be like, buy my pet product, that's good. So I thought I'd send you this email to remind you that you can get the same results for your pet too, and maybe it'll spark a compliment and awesome conversation. So what is the product? So click the link to order our dog hip and joint care mobility supplement now before we run out again. Okay. Okay, so we've got the right formula. I just feel like the story doesn't connect very well to the product. So if we know we're going here to this dog hip and joint care mobility supplement, I would be finding a more creative way to bring that in, to link to this product. So, I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, this story could be stronger, I feel, and it could link to the product a lot better than it does at the moment. And then the subject lines, I would probably think of something else. I mean, it makes sense in the context of what you've got here, but I just don't think that people are going to be curious or interested enough to click those particular subject lines, personally. Okay, so those are my thoughts on these copy samples. I want to thank this copywriter for sending these through. Thank you so much for sharing your work and allowing me to share my thoughts on it. Keep at it and let me know how you go. If anyone else watching this would like me to do something similar, I'm going to do this for maybe 2 or 3 more people for YouTube, and that'll sort of be it. So you can reach out to me via my website, Instagram, on YouTube, whatever. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.